On September 17th in 2008, I went to a basketball open gym for the upcoming season. And while I was playing, I collapsed and I started going into seizures and I was having a heart attack. I went into sudden cardiac arrest. My life has never been the same ever since that day.
The personal story, a young man who might not be here if it wasn't for an automatic external defibrillator.
They had been playing for about 40 minutes or so, and then we're shooting for teams and getting drinks and things. And then Mike just started walking over, and then just heard a big thud and looked over, and he had fallen to the floor.
I was still shocked for like a couple seconds. I'm like, how could this happen, like right now? But then right after that, we just all got organized, worked together, and tried to save his life.
I was just like, guys, he's not kidding. Like, he just kind of collapsed and we saw his eyes roll. And we thought he was just making fun of one of the other guys that like tripped during the game. But I was like, guys, he's not kidding.
And then as we, approach Cannon Falls, 2 blocks away from the hospital, you turn in and you see the police basically giving us an escort to the rear of the hospital. Then you start to wonder what's really going on.
Next thing I remember, I was in a helicopter with people telling me that I was gonna be fine. I don't have to worry. I'll be okay.
Loaded him up and took him to Children's Hospital in St. Paul. And at that point, they said he was stabilized and
was in a safe spot, I guess.
yeah.
Next thing I knew, we were landing and I was suddenly in a hospital bed because I kept going in and out of consciousness, and people were asking me questions like, what grade are you in? Senior, sophomore, junior? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how old I am. I don't know what grade I'm in.
Well, they had an EKG on him, and everything was normal. There was no sign of a heart attack or anything. I mean, you would never have known. The doctors would have never known just from a physical that he had a heart problem or heart condition from the EKG or just listening to the heart.
And then they took a sonic, what's it called?
The ultrasound?
Ultrasound.
Echogram?
To find about the
thickening of the heart.
heart wall.
They did an echogram and they realized I have hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is a thickening of the heart muscle. So it makes it really hard for my heart to pump blood when it's under a lot of duress and a lot of stress. So yeah, I have to wear this bracelet now that says I have hypertrophic cardiomyopathy and that I have a pacemaker. The first thing they told me after they learned about my heart condition was that I would not be able to play basketball. And that was really depressing for me. But they did say there was a chance I could still play baseball, depending on how my surgery went and how I responded afterwards. And so that winter, as winter came, I started working out after the doctors told me I could. And in December, I did a stress test, and they decided that it'd be okay if I played baseball as long as I followed their restrictions and did not push myself to the extreme.
Michael is now recovering. He wears a permanent pacemaker and is hoping to get his doctor's permission to play baseball this spring.
Funny story, by the time that news story ran, I hadn't actually gotten permission from my doctor yet. So it kind of put a lot of pressure on him to say yes and allow me to play baseball.
Well, we're glad that he can still play baseball. It really helped lift his spirits when he found out that he could after taking a stress test.
Now up to bat for the Bombers, number 22, Michael, the Heartbreak Kid Spillman.
Everyone's been really supportive, like my family, friends, and I know my coach, Bucky Lindo, was ecstatic to hear that I got to play baseball again.
it's just been a great situation having Mike available to play both last year and now going into this year. Mike's a tremendous kid. He's a great student of the game of baseball. He understands what it takes to be a good baseball player. He understands what it takes to be a good person. And that really wears off on his teammates. So he really has a positive impact. When he was able to play last year, we were all so excited just because he was able to get on the field after not being able to play basketball, all the questions about what he would be able to do. And first game last year against Casson Manorville, he hit a double and ended up going to third on a throw, and so we were all kind of holding our breath as he did a head-first slide into third base. And from there, kind of the nervousness about the whole situation eased because we got through that situation, and he's just taken off from there. He's been swinging the bat really well, handling himself really well. He does a great job defensively at first base. But like I said, most importantly is his impact on his teammates.
Even though my doctors wouldn't let me play varsity basketball anymore, I still enjoy playing basketball. So every once in a while I go out and play basketball out in my basketball hoop that I got when I was younger. And I really enjoy it still, which makes me kind of sad that I don't get to play it anymore.
We had bought him a weed whipper for the summer before because that was kind of his job. Weed whip the weeds around the trees and the fences and everything. Thought that'd be a good job for him. Well, he no longer can use a weed whipper because the vibrations of the weed whipper could set off his pacemaker or set off the defibrillator.
Simulating a irregular heartbeat.
He's in a study right now with Yale that they call him every 6 months and see what activities he's been doing and how his heart's been, taking it, and if there's been any changes or anything different. So that's kind of a study so that they know what, because there's very few kids that have pacemakers and they want to know.
That have gone on to play athletics. The goal of that is to see if kids can play sports. Kind of started with the EMTs in Cannon Falls, wanted to do a Red Cross, appreciation for the people that saved Mike's life. And they did a small presentation. And at the same time, the Minnesota State High School League caught wind of this, and Mike has become part of the Anyone Can Save a Life program.
And what is Anyone Can Save a Life?
Sure. Anyone Can Save a Life is an emergency preparedness program that will assist administrators in our member schools on how to respond to sudden cardiac arrest.
He's become a spokesman on that. And at the same time, all of the local TV stations, we've had interviews with KSTP, WCCO,
KARE 11.
And he's been talked about on most of those. He's been in the Agri-News, the Rochester paper, the Star Tribune, all because a lot of it had to do with the fact that he went back to play baseball after having a heart attack. The Anyone Can Save a Life was the fact that the people that saved his life were mostly kids his age. And that's what they're promoting, is trying to get the AEDs in the schools and that everybody on the teams know how to use them.
Ever since my heart attack, I really appreciate everything a lot more. Because I'm lucky to be alive. I intend to live forever. So far, so good.